What's up? What's up? What's up? All right. So, hope all is well. Uh, Happy Sunday. I pray next week they come and get Brandon Johnson and his whole administration, lock everybody up, lock Walter Burnett up, lock them all up. But until then, I just talk about the BS. Um, right. Lock them all up. Hello, hello, Danny. A little bit under the weather, so she may join a little bit later if I'm still on. But she told me to tell y'all hello. But she went to go lay down, so she probably taking a nap. But other than that, she's good. We had our first little event yesterday called Juke in the Park. Uh, it was cool. We had a little technical difficulties with the generator and stuff like that. So we had a late start, but when we started it, we started. The next one will be August 24th from 4 to 10. And I think I'm going to do it every month. Like I'm going to do a different genre of music. So from reggae to 90s hip hop to 90s R&B to country to rock and roll to house music to techno. You know, I love music. Music um, is something that it's my medicine, therapy and music. I get those two together, unstoppable out here. Uh, let's see. So, as you know, the disgraced Walter Burnett. Um, First of all, before I start, um, I don't know if anybody's seen this, um, and I think we should discuss this. I'm gonna pray that let's see. Yeah, before we get on to it. So he said ICE arrests illegal immigrant accused of decapitating an Illinois woman after judge set him free. ICE agents tracked down and arrested Mexican national after Illinois court released him despite gruesome crime accusation. Let's see. You're dealing with this weirdos as well. Do you guys see this too? Let's see if it'll play. All this stuff should play. But how this works. Oh, we might get some action. We might get some action. This was crazy too. It's a whole different thing, but this was crazy. I was watching this, just shaking my head. Now, a lot of them is doing this, but they play on your sympathy. They don't speak English, all of these things, and you got to have sympathy, and all this is a scam. All of it is a scam. They're gonna scam. Everybody got scammers in they nationality and their ethnicity and their race. Everybody got scammers. These people over here is scammers too. So the play is not gonna. I gotta get some better Wi-Fi. Too many people here, so everybody sharing this Wi-Fi in America, and it just can't. Somebody needs to. These people need to go home. Everybody need to go home because we got the top Wi-Fi, and I still can't get this stuff the way that I need to get it. Like I have to download. I probably have to download it before because it's really messing up what I be trying to do when it comes to y'all. So I'm gonna have to learn how to do that because I be wanting to share stuff. Only one time I was able to like kill it the way that I wanted to kill it, but the rest of this stuff, yeah, so it's too many people here, and they got these H1B1 visa people in here thinking that they the only people that know how to do this internet stuff, and they don't, and they're messing our stuff up.
Listen, this is for us.
Woo! Yeah!
So
I'm the greatest man in the world. Oh, I'm so happy I can't even feel.
Hi, where are you?
Hey, I can't make it. I have a board meeting.
At BMW, text Chris.
yeah, they just want me to read to niggas. I'm gonna get my reading skills up.
Today. Yeah, I'm actually working with a new trainee.
I should never. I done got on to something else. This is how I am. But I kept seeing this thing, and I was laughing at it because it was just sad. I mean, not laughing at it, like laughing at it. It's just sad that they got scammers too. But you got the media talking about it's not. But anyway, ICE arrested illegal immigrant accused of decapitating Illinois woman after judge set him free. ICE agents tracked down and arrested Mexican nationalist after Illinois court released him despite gruesome accusations. Immigration authorities in Chicago arrested a Mexican illegal immigrant accused of decapitating a missing Illinois woman and storing her body in a storage container filled with bleach. Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, 52, of Waukegan, Illinois, was arrested in April and charged with concealing a corpse, abusing a corpse, and obstruction of justice, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Immediately after his first court appearance, Lake County Judge Randy Bruno released Mendoza Gonzalez from custody. So Lake County Judge Randy Bruno, so we gotta look up who Randy Bruno dumbass is to release Mendoza Gonzalez from custody. He was arrested again Sunday afternoon at a market in Chicago. So this nigga was still in Chicago by Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE agents, and remain in ICE custody, according to DHS. In April, police in Waukegan, Illinois, found the body of 37-year-old Megan Boyce, who was reported missing March 9th in a container in Mendoza Gonzalez yard. She disappeared in February, according to family members. Mendoza Gonzalez was accused of keeping Boyce's body in his yard for nearly 2 months and abusing her corpse. DHS officials told Fox News Boy's body had been decapitated and she was found in a bleach-filled storage container. It is absolutely repulsive. This monster walked free on Illinois streets after allegedly committing such a heinous crime. A DHS spokesperson told Fox News Megan Boyce and her family will have justice. This is the piece of shit right here, Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez. Thank God we got this piece of shit off the streets, but sadly he was still here and shopping at a market in Chicago. After Mendoza Gonzalez released in April, Mayor Scott Gardner criticized laws that allowed the suspected criminal alien to be released.
Hi, where are you?
I was shocked to find out literally the next day that the person that they had arrested for this had been released from prison under the Safety Act. Less than detained less. I think within 48 hours.
Yeah, I'm
There are
actually working
other
with a new trainee.
extenuating circumstances in this case. Not only the type of crime, how long the crime was concealed, the fact that the person was arrested for this is not a U.S. citizen, and you know it may be flee the country.
National in California.
Mendoza Gonzalez allegedly told authorities Boyce overdosed in his house, and instead of calling 911, he broke her phone and kept her body in the basement for 2 days before moving it out.
She allegedly tried to fake her own kidnapping and blame it on ICE, trying to make it look like she was Yuriana Calderon lied. The DOJ says that the border at gunpoint by federal agents to solicit and that donations. She staged these officials pointed out that she would have had to make it look like she was in federal custody. Booking photo. The DOJ says surveillance footage shows Calderon to solicit donations. Officials pointed out that she would have had to remove her necklace.
Thank you. Now you want to talk. Now y'all want to talk when I'm talking. The nerd. All right. Mendoza Gonzalez, Republican State Rep Tom Weber expressed concern about Mendoza Gonzalez release in April. Someone had hid their body in a garbage can for 51 days after leaving in the basement for 2 days after not calling 911 and breaking the phone is this a non-detainable offense? Weber said, should we not find out waiting for toxicology report?
Calderon was motivated by more than just money.
So yeah. Now, you've got people like Andre Vasquez, Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez, Brian Cincho Lopez, Anthony Quazita. Who else is out there? The progressives, Hispanic KKK, Jesse Fuentes, capping for these people, trying to say they do not want ICE here to come and detain these people. But if ICE was not here, because Judge Bruno said F it and still not a U.S. citizen and put him left in this they were doing this was a revolving door. They were letting all of these illegals out while we were getting locked up. These illegals would get detained and then they would be let go. So Judge Bruno felt like, well, she was found decapitated. Yes. Her phone was broke. Yes. She was missing. Nobody didn't, know where she was at. He actually hid the body. That he should be out. She should be loose. We should just go ahead and let this man out. Give him another chance. Just despite the horrendous crime that he's suspected of doing because he never denied it. He actually told them that she overdosed and he broke her phone. And then he went to work. That was his dead girlfriend. Decided that he wanted to keep her and do some things to her and abuse the corpse. And Judge Bruno thought that was acceptable for him to be out in the community amongst other women and children, all ages, all races, all nationalities. And if it wasn't for ICE being in the city and grabbing this man, he'd still be out here. We don't know what else he has done since Judge Bruno let him out. We have to make sure Judge Bruno never gets on that bench again. Okay, we're gonna look up who Judge Bruno is. There's a few judges that we're gonna make famous because like all together. Because it's a few judges that should not be on a bench at all. And it is people that are in our city council, Andre Vasquez being one, who is very vocal about this zoning chair, is okay with stuff like this. Matter of fact, want to hold the police accountable and want to put all these restrictions on the police working with ICE when it comes to protecting these criminals and animals. Meanwhile, it's like the second or third crime that's happened in Illinois when it came to an illegal immigrant. I think one was MS-13 person. Then we have this one, and then there's one more. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, you're right, Ms. Diane. Thanks to Biden. I posted something today on my Instagram talking about, Biden let 20 million people over that we know. We're just gonna say, and probably a lot more than that. We'll say 20 million. Right? He deliberately did this. He rescinded every executive order that President Trump had in before he lost the election. 94 Jim Crow crime bill. Joe Biden came in there and rescinded every executive order to secure the border in the best that it could be. Because there are going to be some people that are going to come over or slip up or sneak or find a way. But no, this man opened up the border, let 20 million people over, and then dumped $400 billion in resources. And the majority of some of these people went into the Black communities. And we are sitting here arguing about Trump being a white supremacist. And then when you say this, they'll say, well, they're both white supremacists. Okay, well, let's just discuss that real quick. Joe Biden did the 94 crime bill and separated our family with the help of Bill Clinton, separated our families, right? Then his mentor was Robert Byrd, a Ku Klux Klansman, okay, who turned to a senator, Democrat. Then fast forward, you hook him up with Obama Hussein as the vice president, and people are supposed to forget that he has separated a whole bunch of Black families and really started help with the divide of our mental illness, our mental health illness that we have in our community, because we have yet to get the proper resources to make sure that we do have coping mechanisms. And that's why we struggle to stay together as a unit, because of people like Jim Crow Joe Biden and racist supremacy people like that who uses us with the help of these no good black politicians in the name of Democrats. Okay, and then we fast forward to 2021 after after we just dealt with the COVID scam and all that stuff. You decide to open up this border and then say, you know what? I want to go out with a big bang. You know what I'm saying? Let's just flood it. Let's flood the black communities. The gentrification is taking too long. Let's just flood the black communities. And hey, but we go back to Trump. People can't stand Trump, and they're upset and hate Trump and pissed off at Trump. But they're pissed off and hate Trump because Trump saved the little bit of logical common sense that we have in our community for sure, because we were done. We were done if Kamala Harris got up in there. So my thing is, people have selective amnesia. The black Democrats have selective amnesia when it comes to stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to speak about the hurt, the traumatic experiences that the Democratic Party has continued to do. The Democratic Party is the party of the single mother. You know what I'm saying? That is the erase the man out of the house. You understand? Like, they are the no kings, they are the dictator, they are everything that they say this man is. They're just mad because this man they feel is a traitor because he was a Democrat. He knows he knows the games, he knows the plays, and he turned. And I appreciate that. Like I said, he's not a politician, nor like I'm not a politician, nor like Danielle's not a politician, or other people in our group are not politicians. We see the issue just like he's seen the issue, and that is the problem. And it's also funny when it comes to that situation with the previous man that we just said that was out here running loose. That you're right. You know that why Pritzker or Karl Raul or any of those people even talked about that, discussed that. You know, I mean, they're showing their true colors when it comes to all of this. But we weren't supposed to wake up. Black America definitely wasn't supposed to wake up at the time that we did. So, yeah. We were definitely done. You understand? So, and I hope that we continue to teach our children the dark side of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party was terrible. They actually, that whole party actually is the ones who owe our reparations, if you want to keep it 100. The Democratic Party alone, like that's every Black American should be suing Democratic Party for just PTSD, major depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, because it was running people crazy, because people knew they wasn't crazy, but it made you run a sanctuary city. It's literally a lawsuit. A voting base. If you can show your your registration of you registered to vote and you registered to vote for a Democratic Party for these many years, you should be entitled to compensation for all of the bullshit that party has done to Black America, especially. They led us on a Ponzi. That was a Ponzi scheme, the biggest Ponzi scheme ever to pull off in history is the Democratic Party and the Black vote. We'll get to that another time, but I just that's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna do what they do, feel what you say. So there's not nothing nobody can tell me. Yes, a class action suit. A class action suit. We never want the Democratic Party to ever rise again. They are fucked up. Excuse my language, but definitely are. All right, so let's get back to this. So, as you know, Walter, disgraced bank robber, Burnett, stepped down. His last day was Wednesday. He was crying at city council when he was reading off, but they're actors too. The Democratic Party is actors as well. So, but he was, put his glasses on and, was acting like, he is, crying and stuff. But no. So they are, so the zoning is one of the most important, if not important committee in the in City Hall, and that's what we are going to discuss. So let me just get everything because I thought Danny was going to be on here, so that's my fault. So I was trying to get. All right. So the Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards shall have jurisdiction over all zoning matters in the operation of the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Office of Zoning Administrator. Land use policy generally and land use recommendations of the Chicago Plan Commission and the Department of Planning and Development. Building code ordinance matters generally affecting the Department of Buildings and Designations, maintenance and preservation of historical and agricultural landmarks. The committee shall work in cooperation with those public and private organizations similarly engaged in matters affecting landmarks. As you see, the landmark game is they don't even care about landmarks. These people is literally they forgot about the landmarks. It's very few landmarks left to the point they've learned how to finesse certain things with the landmarks. We're trying to hurry up and downsizing it to residential so they can, in the name of affordable housing. I mean, they're just what's her name? Michelle Harris. She just downzoned a church that's been there for 119 years over there in on 79th Street. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like that's landmark worthy, but I guess not. So right now you have the battle of because he's out now. I'm gonna read this first, and then I can tell you this thing about how it was a battle last year too. So Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson again faces thorny politics of picking zoning chair and other council appointments. As the departure of Alderman Walter Burnett leaves Mayor Brandon Johnson with the challenge of picking his third zoning committee chair, the city council's Black and Latino caucuses have already begun jockeying for the highly coveted leadership spot. Burnett, often dubbed the dean of the council as his most tenured member, will step down at the end of July, vacating both his committee chairmanship as in role as Johnson's vice mayor. The zoning appointment has been one of the freshman mayor's biggest political conundrums throughout the first 2 years of his term, and his next choice is expected to make waves in a council where racial politics remain an undercurrent. To that day, the heads of both the Black and Latino caucuses are calling for the chairmanship to go to one of their members. And Vice Chair Alderman Bennett Lawson, who is white, has expressed interest in the permanent role too. Johnson, for his part, will not say on Wednesday where his inclinations lie. Look, the most important thing here is that we have someone who reflects my values. He told reporters when asked if the Black Caucus should retain the zoning chair spot, he said, we'll go through the process like we've always gone through, and the person that best reflects our ability to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. I feel very confident that they'll find the right person. Now, I don't understand why he keeps saying the safest, because it's really not. And then when he keeps talking about affordable, because it's really not as well. So I don't know. I think he need to come up with something else, because that's not it. Like that, that's not it. He got to find another tagline. I mean, I know he stopped saying the three black kids, black wife, black man, west side of Chicago, because he doesn't live on the west side of Chicago anymore. He lives in Beverly. So he doesn't say that anymore, but he needs to find something else, because to build the safest, most affordable big city in America, that's not it either. So I want, Mayor Johnson, whoever you have watching our stuff, you gotta find something else, King, because that's not it. Now, Latino Caucus Chair Alderman Andre Vasquez, y'all, confirmed Thursday he is interested in seeking the zoning appointment, pending decisions among caucus members. The progressive critic of the mayor sought the candidacy a year ago too, but Johnson tapped his close ally, Alderman Byron Sitcho Flagburner Lopez instead. That decision created one of the mayor's biggest political problems within the council during that time. For months, Sitcho Flagburner Lopez struggled to garner support from aldermen who complained he was too decisive to hold a powerful role. By September, after 9 months of Lawson serving as the interim chair, Johnson tapped Burnett instead and picked that sale through without controversy. However, the mayor had promised the spot for the Latino caucus back when he planned to install Sitcho Flagburner Lopez. Vasquez said the time is now for the caucus to seek the zoning role back. We feel like there's been a lack of representation and actually a loss of representation, Vasquez said. I'm happy to serve in that capacity. Vasquez said this. He said he's happy to serve in that capacity. If we're looking at the leadership of the city, it being represented in the committee chairs, there's opportunity for the Latino caucus to grow rather than feel like it's a lost seat or remain the same. Out of city council's 20 committees, 10 are chaired by members of the Black caucus, while 6 are headed by Latino caucus members. The remaining 4 are led by white aldermen. Through these appointments require council approval. They are traditionally up to the mayor's discretion and play out behind closed doors in a political arena where various factions attempt to curry favor with the administration. Alderman Stephanie Coleman, head of the Black Caucus, confirmed to the Tribune on Wednesday she absolutely expects the zoning chairperson to go to one of her members, and I absolutely agree with you, Alderman Stephanie Coleman, and we'll get to that later. Just as our city council reflects the diversity of our great city leadership, should as well. Just as our city council reflects the diversity of our great city leadership, should as well. Maybe the leadership in this great city is asked to respond to Latino caucus argument that it used to control the role under Johnson's first zoning chair. Former alderman Carlos Romero Rosa, Coleman responded, well, the operative word was used to be. Ramirez Rosa stepped down from leading the zoning committee in November 2023 amid a furor over bullying accusations from 4 colleagues, including Alderman Emma Mitz, the council's current longest-serving Black woman. He has denied the allegations. Later that month, Ramirez Rosa avoided historic censure thanks to Johnson's tiebreaker vote, but not before the episode cast open bitter divisions within the body along racial lines. Mitz, who ultimately voted against formally punishing Ramirez Rosa, said on the council floor, "I felt like I was back in the South." I was there for this, y'all. I know that's how she sounds. As for whom the Black Caucus plans to recommend to head zoning now, Coleman sidestepped the question Wednesday on whether she was interested in the role. So did Alderman Greg Mitchell, who 2 sources said was seeking support to be Johnson's next zoning chair. "I can neither confirm nor deny that," he said Wednesday. Meanwhile, Lawson, who has spent over a year trying to shepherd through the council a stalled ordinance that would legalize granny flats and coach houses in Chicago, signaled his interest too. He added he would no longer be willing to serve as interim zoning chair. "I think it would be dishonest to say no," Lawson said when asked if he wants the permanent appointment. "I think I do a good job. I understand it's a lot more than that goes into it, so I'm also realistic. Whoever Johnson next zoning chair appointment may be, it is likely to trigger a musical chairs of sorts among other committee assignments too. Vasquez is currently chair of the Immigration Committee, while Mitchell heads the Transportation Committee. Meanwhile, Burnett's exit also leaves open the vice mayor role, which is a large symbolic, but does come with a shiny $430,000 budget for additional staff. 2 sources told the Tribune that if Vasquez were to vacate the Immigration Committee chair, Alderman Ruth Cruz would be interested in taking over, while Alderman Mike Rodriguez hopes to be Johnson's pick for the next vice mayor. Michael Rodriguez, let me tell you something. No. But if Mitchell were to clinch zoning, Vasquez would seek the Transportation Committee so that the Latino Caucus would gain a chairmanship seat regardless. Cruz and Rodriguez declined to comment. Della Marie Cobb, a Chicago-based political strategist, argued that whatever course Johnson takes leaves little room for either the Black or Latino caucus to object compared to previous eras in city council. But she did suggest the mayor spread the wealth by taking these vacancies as a chance to extend an olive branch to some of his detractors in the council. If he reached out to Walter Burnett, who certainly was not a progressive by any means, any stretch of the imagination, he can do the same to some of these detractors. Cobb said, "I don't think the Latino caucus has a lot to complain about. I don't think the Black caucus has a lot to complain about. I think he's been very equal for most of the part." Vasquez, however, noted his caucus has sounded the alarm on Latino representation within Johnson's administration and leadership appointments before, and sees the upcoming committee chair reach separately a chance to even the playing field. "I do think it's unfortunate given the history of Chicago, where everything's been segregated and communities of color and vulnerable communities have felt like they have had to fight for every bit of representation. You see a little bit more of the tension along racial lines," Jasper said. "But if you recognize how the city has been built and an understanding of it, I think it's incumbent upon us to work past those things. The zoning committee controls critical legislation related to development and other land use issues in Chicago. That makes the mayor's chairmanship selection a weighty one in a city council where automatic prerogative, the de facto practice of deferring to the presiding alderman when it comes to projects within their ward continues to reign supreme. It has also landed former chair in hot water. Former Alderman Danny Solis, zoning chair for a decade, famously wore a wire on his colleagues after being implicated in taking bribes while controlling the committee." I don't know if y'all remember this. I want to bring this back real quick, yeah. All right. That's how I felt. You see Daniel Espada back there? I mean, not Daniel Espada. You saw Nick Sposato. You see Nick Sposato? See him back right there? That's exactly how I felt when she stood up and said a bunch of bullshit. Okay? And how you gonna say you felt like you was back in the South and then don't censor this piece of shit? All right? Carlos Ramirez Rosa has skipped on to now he's head of the Park District. Okay? But that's a do nothing Black Caucus. That is a do nothing Black Caucus. Now, back last year, May 21st, 2024, Alderman Mintz was supposed to get that chair. She was supposed to be the chairman. But Carlos Romero Rosa, the same man she forgave after he threatened her and said and touched her, and also threatened a whole bunch. He threatened Nicole Leigh, Cardona, I think Talaferro, and one other person that if they voted, and this is all because of the sanctuary city. I forgot to say, all if they voted in about putting the sanctuary city on a referendum, so the city can vote if we still wanted Chicago to be a sanctuary city. All this came because of this piece of doo-doo, Carlos Ramirez Rosa. Get y'all. I want y'all to understand who this doo-doo is. He's a piece of doo-doo. I'll tell you, it's big money in this cartel running this city with these idiots that's in here. All right, so look it right here. I'll put this on the screen. So him right here. This is he started a lot of stuff, and then I don't know. I think I believe a lot of them they all have sex with each other. That's just my opinion because it's too emotional in there, and everybody really gay. It's real gay. It's real testosterone-ish. It's a lot of emotional bitch ass female-ish shit going on, and it's a lot. The Democratic Party got a lot of. You got to stage the niggas. Like it's kind of dumb, but he is the reason why. So because Bill and Ray Lopez for that last year, the last 2 years, they are really the ones that have been the most vocal about ending the sanctuary city status or giving the city a chance to vote. And when that was supposed to discuss, that people were supposed to vote on it. If you don't have a certain amount of people in the chambers, then you cannot have a decorum. If you can't have a decorum, then you can't vote. And if you can't vote, then you have to cancel the meeting. So even though they pick and choose. They pick and choose where they do this because they don't follow directions at all. However, this particular time, he was head of zoning. This man right here, Carlos Rivera Rosa, and he also was the floor leader. And he went around and basically said if certain people voted or stayed in the chambers to vote on whether we should have a sanctuary city, or if this should be on if this should go on a referendum for as far as the sanctuary city, that he would not pass certain things to get zoned in their neighborhoods. And he put his hands on Emma Mitz, pushing her or avoiding her not to go into the chambers to vote for this. So due to that, people did call for his resignation and all these things. And then this city council, he did have to step down as the floor leader, and he did have to step down as the zoning chair. So this day, she wrote this letter, and everybody, the Do Nothing Black Caucus, all went and put their little thing on. I don't know what that's called. That little thing that people get when they graduate. But theirs had the CD, Chicago Black Caucus, or CBC, Chicago Black Caucus. I don't know why they put them on, because it really don't matter, because they don't do shit. Do Nothing Black Caucus is the Do Nothing Black Caucus in every city. I know it's probably trash, and even to the congressional Black Caucus. But anyway, they put them on, and she wrote this letter, and then she read this letter, and then she spoke up and talked about how she felt like she was back in the South. She did all that dramatic stuff. She felt like she was back in the South, only to not censor this piece of doo-doo. And then when it came to her supposed to be getting next up, because again, she's the oldest black. She's the oldest black woman to be in a position as an alderman down there. Brandon Johnson was giving her the seats, and Carlos Romero Rosa was like, no. It has to be a Latino. So they were going to take that is why Brian Central Lopez did not mind meeting with me and Ms. Jackson at the time to discuss our papers and all that stuff, because he already thought he was going to be tapped out of housing and real estate and going up to zoning. But it didn't go well like that. So Alderman Emmerman said that she accepted the mayor's office to chair the housing committee and thought she had a deal until she was supposed to do housing committee. Sorry. She was supposed to do housing committee, and he was supposed to do zoning, Brian Central Lopez. And that didn't work out until Tuesday. Well, this was Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, when she was told the job had been promised to Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa, who resigned as zoning chair after being accused of bullying Mitz. Okay. So this man, between him and Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez, they was running City Hall, but he really was running City Hall. That nigga was dangling. He had whatever he had on somebody, he was just dangling on, and nobody didn't want no problem with this man. But he ended up. So what happened was. And then when Brian Central Lopez, it was just, after him standing next to the flag, that was the American flag burning, he calling every white person that's in city council, man, if they didn't agree with him, they were white supremacists and talking crazy out his neck, spitting everywhere, because you don't understand half the shit he talking about, he turned to a whole dictator, anti in the situation with Pilsen not rocking with him, because he was trying to push $1 billion and he's still trying to push $1 billion of TIF money in Pilsen, because he gonna try to use that money to get back in office, because he has no money. No one's donating a dime to him. His wife is probably gonna have to finance his whole campaign. And she got some money, because ain't nobody rocking with Brian Central Lopez. So, they got to do their money laundering maneuvers and stuff like that. So yeah. So after all that backlash or whatever, somebody told whoever is Brandon Johnson's puppeteer told him to just make Walter Burnett the zoning chair, and that's what he did, and that's it. And Emma Mitz, it's just she stopped coming to work. She stopped coming to work. The first time I seen Emma Mitz back actually was Wednesday. She got a new wig too, so I call it New Wig Mitz. New Wig Mitz has a new wig, and she's out there. She's back. She came out there, and I don't think she fucking with me no more. She didn't say hello. It looked like she kind of like she probably somebody probably told her that, I've been saying little things, but Miss ain't shit either. So I mean, at the end of the day, she can't even get mad at me speaking the truth. Like, you don't do nothing either. Like, y'all don't do anything. Like, you let your whole ward just continue to live underwater because everybody's basement flooded over that motherfucker. So I mean, you just mad at you mad at me for talking about facts. I just don't understand. I know if I was an elected official, I'm trying to tell you, like, my ward, nobody's not gonna have to worry about nothing at all. I'll help them find a lawyer to sue the city of Chicago for not acting. They ain't got time. Nobody got time for this, because once you start doing that, then eventually they're gonna have no choice but to start doing right. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to ride out with your constituents. Constituents got you in there. Ride out, ride. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. But not these niggas. Some weird niggas. Weird as hell. All right. So the zoning, I'm going to get, because since we're talking about zoning, I want to get into Danny Solis, because Danny Solis, so he was the zoning chair for a very long time, and he was taking hella bribes, and he is a snitch. He is the biggest snitch. And he was paying, and he was taking bribes. He was even taking Viagra bribes. This nigga was just taking anything. This nigga was giving crackhead. All right. Let's get in, because I like to do my little biography when it comes to these people. I don't know how Danny Solis even walking on these streets. I think I would have went back to Mexico. Danny Solis is an American politician from Illinois. He served as alderman on the Chicago City Council from 1996 to 2019, and he represented Chicago's 25th ward, which includes Lower West Side. Brian Sigel Lopez, flag burner, has his is the alderman over there as well. He was born in Monterrey, Mexico, and he is a Democratic. He's part of the Democratic Party, of course. Only Democratic Party these niggas do anything. His sister is Patty Solis Doyle, who was Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager. Solis was a member of Clinton's Illinois Steering Committee. He was born in 1949 in Mexico. He was 6 years old. He immigrated to the United States with his mother. His father had already come to this country to seek work. Solis began his career as a school teacher, of course. He was the founder and executive director of Latino Youth High School, as well as executive director of the Pilsen Neighbors Community Council. Later, he was co-founder and executive director of the United Neighborhood Organization, where he led a successful campaign to help 12,000 immigrants become neutralized citizens and register to vote. He also led grassroots reform for the Chicago Public Schools by helping organize a campaign to enlist parents and community members to run for the first local school council elections. Mayor Richard Daley, of course. Mayor Richard Daley is always going to appoint his corrupt cronies. Okay, appointed Solis to the Chicago Housing Authority Board of Commissioners and the Regional Transportation Authority in 1995. In 1996, after Alderman Antonio Medrano pleaded guilty to corruption charges, of course, Solis was appointed to the seat by no other than Mayor Daley. Really? He won a special election in February 1997 to serve out Medrano's term with 77% of the votes. One of Solis' first actions was to present Angelo La Pietra, I'm sorry if I messed it up, the founder of the Old Neighborhood Italian American Club at 31st and Shields, a plaque and reward that recognized him as the leader of the community in 25th Ward. As Alderman Solis focused on job creation and physical improvements in the 25th Ward, Lower West Side, such as expanded National Museum of Mexican Art. He took care of his Mexicans now. The Ping Tom Memorial Park in Chinatown, and rehabilitation of the Archer Court Senior Housing Development. Solis also encouraged and negotiated with the International Produce Market and American Linen Company to stay and locate in the 25th Ward's planned manufacturing district, which has bought and continues to bring jobs and capital to the community. Throughout his career as Alderman, Solis been an ally of Mayor Daley, and in 2001 was appointed president pro tempore of the city council, allowing him to oversee council proceedings in the mayor's absence. Solis served on 7 committees: aviation, budget, and government operations, committee, rules and ethics, finance, education, health, human relations, and public safety. In November 2018, Solis announced that he would not re-seek election to his seat. Shortly after his retirement announcement, it was reported, hear that now? Solis announced that he would not seek re-election to his seat. Shortly after his retirement announcement, it was reported that Solis was secretly recording fellow Alderman Ed Burke, who has been charged and convicted of corruption. And he is, my man is on the west side in a halfway house. Burke coming home, who have been charged with corruption. Court filings used to obtain search warrants at Solis' home indicated that Solis has also recorded Speaker of Illinois House Representative Mike Madigan, another one who has been convicted, charged and convicted. An investigation uncovered that Solis had paid himself hundreds of thousands of dollars out of his political campaign. Conversations which Solis recorded between himself and Madigan will ultimately lead to Madigan being convicted in February 2025 on numerous charges related to efforts to give Solis and his daughter paid positions and Madigan's use Solis to aid his private law firm. Solis will provide several days of testimony against Madigan during Madigan's trial. Yes. So he solicited bribes for zoning decisions, including campaign donations, sex acts, Viagra and massage parlors, and luxury favors. My man right here. Okay, and then after being confronted by the FBI in 2016, he was like, I got 2 people I can give you, Burke and Madigan. And they like, Burke and Madigan? Yes, I'll wear the wire right now. Put it all on. I do it. I put it on me. I snitch. Yes, I will snitch. And that's what he did. Snitched. Okay. Solis' recordings and cooperation played a key role in securing charges for Burke, who is now convicted, and then testified in Madigan's 2024 federal corruption trial, revealing explicit discussions of quid pro quo, developer meetings, and baited assistant pitches, all captured on hitting recordings. In May of 2025, this snitch bribery charges were officially dropped following compliance with the terms of his agreement. Who you on the phone with? Okay. Danny Solis used his powerful position as the city council zoning committee, as chairman of the zoning committee, to solicit bribes and campaign donations. Okay, and prove personal favors in exchange for approving zoning changes and development deals. He had enormous control over which real estate projects advanced. He would only approve zoning changes such as upzoning for bigger buildings or converting industrial land if the developers gave him something in return. Okay. Developers gave campaign donations and helped fundraise for other politicians he supported. In return, they got expedited zoning approvals or favorable project outcomes. Some of the deals including luxury perks like massages and a use of a private jet and even Viagra. Okay. He also uses zoning power to help all other aldermen and elected officials, including Ann Burke and Mike Madigan, by bringing in developers and expecting those developers to hire their law firms or make donations. Okay, that's why niggas can't get no. You can't get no work here. That's all these certain people. That's why you got to get all these people out. So the baby machine, the baby progressive machine, Latino machine, was about to come in and coming in and going to put their people in place and leave us out. And then our no good alderman, do nothing alderman, black niggas alderman, wasn't going to make sure we had anything either because they too busy eminent domain in our communities over here to take the land to give it all to University of Chicago or their developers. They've learned how to. They're gonna eminent domain. They're gonna eminent domain us over in they're gonna D-zone South Side, West Side, but they're gonna up zone North Side for the corporations and the luxury and the high crazy. Woo! In 2014, Solis helped arrange a meeting where a developer agreed to hire Madigan's law firm for property tax appeals in exchange for Solis advancing the zoning approval. While not as publicized as direct zoning bribes, Solis was also suspected of helping developers navigate tax increment financing districts. TIF, 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 which would often overlap with zoning approvals, though these were ripe for abuse when paired with insider deals. He secretly recorded over 20,000 conversations helping the feds build corruption cases against Burke and Madigan. Despite being charged with one count of bribery, he struck a deferred prosecution deal in exchange for cooperation. Snitch! Zoning decisions are vulnerable to corruption, a lack of transparency, and community involvement in development. So that's what we're dealing with now. It's a lot of zoning going on now, as we just watched last week with this situation with Revitalize 79 with Yorley Huff trying to do what she's trying to do over there, and this lady, Michelle Harris at the 8th Ward, and others saying that they were already they're talking to the community and talking to the people over there, and half the community don't even know what's going on. Majority of the community don't even know what's going on. But it happens in the white areas too. There's been plenty of people coming down there from different wards, from in the white wards or Hispanic wards, saying that they're not. We're not getting the community out input. We don't know about the community input, any of those type of things. So yeah, they do not do community input. They'll lie down. They'll go down there and say that they already talked to the people and stuff like that while they hurry up and pass stuff. Like I sit and watch, this is what they do down there. Yeah. So that's that. And then there was a guy in 2019. He wrote a paper. His name is Assad Khan. It was called Decentralized Zoning Spillovers, Evidence from Automatic Privilege in Chicago. So basically, the Chicago automatic privilege gives each of the 50 aldermen nearly full control over zoning changes in their ward. This paper studies how the local control impacts development and whether that's good or bad for the city overall. Homeowners, not race or income, are blocking development. Home ownership is the strongest predictor of restrictive zoning. More homeowners equal less new development approved, smaller or fewer upzonings. Concerns like traffic congestion or race were not strong factors once home ownership was controlled for. Developments bring productivity and amenity benefits, new jobs, better restaurants. But these benefits are spread out while the cost, noise, traffic are local. Because aldermen only answer to their ward, they often reject development that would benefit the broader city. Aldermen are not internalizing the citywide impact. Developments near ward boundaries get blocked more often because the alderman voters may not see the gains but do feel the pain. The data shows zoning is more restrictive right at the edge of wards. Developers need alderman approval even if the market supports more density. Zoning changes are hyper-local, often unrelated to what makes sense economically for the city. If a parcel is near lots of homeowners or in politically competitive precinct, zoning is more restrictive. So that right there is very important. If a parcel is near lots of homeowners or in politically competitive precinct, 79th, zoning is more restrictive. And the reason why 79th is politically competitive precinct, because Michelle Harris has made millions of dollars. She's a millionaire, her and Alvin Ryder, for selling out our community in certain TIF zones and stuff like that. But also the Quantum project is coming over there, and that is about to bring in so much money for the University of Chicago, and she is trying to get her dibs on that. That's the real thing. And we don't do the research, or we don't know, and they do it on purpose, so we don't know. So that's why I will try my best to make sure everybody is aware. This is for everybody. But my Black people, y'all do need to be on your P's and Q's, because we are losing the little bit that we have in our communities, and people who want to see the best in our communities and want to see us grow, and they see it as well, and they see it's a problem. They see it's a problem. So, but we need to see it's a problem. Everybody else can't see it's a problem, but we don't see it's a problem. Economic benefits that come together from clustering people or businesses together, side effects, positive or negative, that affect others who didn't choose them, how dense a development can be, zoning laws set far limits, the idea that homeowners oppose development to protect their property values. Over 20,000 rezonings from 2002 to 2016 in Chicago, matched with housing prices, zoning codes, and demographic data. They took the data from race, income, owner versus renter, analyzed ward boundary changes in 2012 to measure impact of redistricting. Local control led to underdevelopment, particularly in high demand areas. High demand areas are blighted areas. Our blighted areas are majority of the areas in the city of Chicago, and that's where majority of the TIF districts are. Regional or citywide planning standards that account for broader spillovers, better community education on the citywide benefits on housing density. So the aldermen basically act like little mayors of their wards, but the city suffers because no one's thinking big picture, especially in our communities. The zoning in Chicago overall is political. It's not rational, and that is our issue, and that's why we have to remove majority of the people that are in office. Now they say in the next August 4th, Burnett CHA nomination goes before the CHA board. I really pray that the feds come get him before then. There's no way in the world that man should be tapped in as the CEO of Chicago Housing Authority. Like, absolutely, you got to be absolutely crazy to even think that that's okay. Like, literally. But Alderman Anthony Beal will become the most senior member in city council since Walter Burnett's exit. And he ain't going to give Beal and Brandon Johnson are not the best of friends. Now, I would like to discuss this man right here. It's Michael Rodriguez right there, light bulb head. This is Beatrice Ponce de Leon. She is the deputy mayor of Immigration and Refugee Rights. And then there is Andre Vasquez. So Andre Vasquez has a lot to say about the zoning, about zoning. And that's crazy to me because you are the chairman of Immigration and Refugee Rights. And right now, you are trying to get an ordinance together where when it comes to the FOIA, let me read this. I want to make sure I got everything. All right here. Let me get it. Hold on. Before I even start, I want to get another picture of this. This nice one up. All right. So on June 30th, the Latino Caucus blasts Mayor CPD chief on ICE response. The City Council Latino Caucus was deeply disappointed by Mayor Brandon Johnson and Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling after the meeting June 11th about the police department's response to federal immigration enforcement activity, according to the letter Caucus Chair Andre Vasquez of the 40th Ward addressed to Johnson and Snelling. The letter was signed by Vasquez, who has been a frequent critic of Mayor Johnson, and sent on behalf of all 14 members of the Latino Caucus. In the letter, the caucus expressed frustration that Johnson and Snelling did not present a strategic plan to deal with federal immigration enforcement activity or President Donald Trump's threat to deploy troops to Chicago. They also criticized the mayor for failing to mention his imminent appointment of Maculin King as interim Chicago Public Schools CEO during the meeting. Caucus member only learned about the appointment through an official announcement later that day, which the letter called serious affront. The mayor office did not respond to requests for comment, and honestly, I wouldn't. And I don't even fuck with the mayor. I don't have to respond to you about who I appointed for the CPS school district. The fuck. The meeting was held a week after a chaotic June 4th incident in the South Loop, where federal immigration agents detained at least 10 people who'd arrived at ICE facility for check-ins. As word of the detention spread, immigrant rights and advocates, family members, and caucus alderpersons arrived to protest. Advocates and alderpersons have since raised questions about whether CPD violated Chicago's Welcoming City Ordinance or the State Trust Act, which prohibit police from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. According to a document, the Southside Weekly obtained from the Office of Emergency Management and Communications, OEMC, via a public records request, 2 calls for assistance were made on June 4th from 2024, 2245 South Michigan Ave, where the ICE facility is located. The first was coded as a disturbance large gathering, for which the document shows no police response. It was followed by a call to assist a police officer, which drew more than a dozen CPD units, as well as the first district commander and other top brass. Once there, police officers blocked access to parking lot adjacent to the ICE facility, while the commander and at least one deputy chief entered the facility and appeared to speak to ICE agents. Demonstrators, including several alderpersons, confronted immigration agents and Chicago police officers. The department later put out a statement saying police were on site to ensure the safety of all involved and that everything CP did was in accordance with the Welcoming City Ordinance. The Council's Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, which Vasquez chairs, held a hearing about the incident. At the hearing, Shanitra Washington, the deputy director of the city's 911 center, said 2 assist police calls came in the day from the ICE facility. It's unclear why the second was not reflected in the OEMC document obtained by FOIA. Washington said an ICE contractor made one of the calls while DHS agent made another, and each identified themselves. CPD Deputy Director Glenn Brooks told the committee that police officers were nevertheless unaware of the building housed an ICE facility before they arrived there. Vasquez told the Weekly that the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, COPA, declined to investigate the incident and attempted to pass it to the Office of Inspector General, OIG, which countered the investigation is in COPA's purview. There, to this date, has been no independent investigation of anything that occurred on June 4th, and that's the larger problem. Inspector General Deborah Witzberg declined to specifically comment on the June 4th incident. That's why she's getting up out of here. As a general matter, the Welcome City Ordinance says that any complaints that non-CPD city employees have violated the ordinance come to the OIG. The ordinance requires the OIG to forward any complaints about CPD members to the police department. Witzberg reiterated this point at Tuesday's committee hearing. I'm inclined to think that if the ordinance meant that all violations of the ordinance came to us, it would say that. She said that if neither COPA or the CPD's Bureau of Internal Investigation investigate, we will do it ourselves. As a spokesperson for COPA did not respond to requests for comment at Tuesday hearings, COPA Interim Chief Administrator LaKenya White said the agency received 2 complaints related to the June 4th event and internal discussions about jurisdiction referred to both of the OIG. The Immigrant and Refugee Rights Committee passed an ordinance at the end of the meeting that requires CPD and OEMC to share communications from June 4th with the City Council. The City Council may consider the ordinance in its next meeting, which is scheduled July 16th, and they did not do that. They put over to the side. 2 alderpersons told the Weekly shortly after the June 4th incident, Snellen privately placed responsibility for the CPD response on 1st District Commander David Harris, saying that Harris made a bad call. Vasquez said that he doesn't know the 1st District Commander's name and didn't get much detail on how the incident played out, but I did know there was somebody on site who I think, because this was a new situation, maybe didn't exercise the best judgment and it might have come off a little bit tense. According to multiple alderpersons who attended the June 11th meeting, Johnson began with a discussion about values when he asked about CPD and ICE activity. He noted the relationship the mayor's office has with community organizations. Superintendent Snelling addressed caucus members' concerns by restating the department's official position that officers have complied with the Welcome to Cities ordinance. In response to concerns caucus members raised about police sharing arrest data with federal immigration agencies that had submitted public records requests, but sometimes reported CPD did at least a dozen times between November 2022 and March of this year. Snelling reiterated that the police department does not work or communicate with immigration agencies. The caucus was not satisfied with the answer. Their letter said the caucus expected a serious response to our concerns about data protection, especially in light of documented cases which arrest records have been shared with the Department of Homeland Security through FOIA requests. Caucus member Brian Cicho Lopez, an ally of Johnson, said he thinks Vasquez is weaponizing the situation against the mayor to gain political points. I know many people have political aspirations, but now is not the time for political expediency. Brian Cicho Lopez said the caucus should be calling out Governor J.B. Pritzker for his statement that CPD followed the law on June 4th. The Latino caucus has been critical of the Johnson administration and think they've been very silent on Pritzker's handling of the incident. Vasquez says there's nothing political expediting about calling out for accountability. And it goes on and goes on and goes on. It's very long. But I wanted to say that to say because last week, well, it was going on 2 weeks now, but the first week, they were trying to put this ordinance together about the situation when it came to working with ICE. It requires the Executive Director of Public Safety Administration to submit monthly reports on FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests, and responses submitted to the chair of the Committee on Immigration and Refugee Rights. They want to add oversight and transparency over how FOIA requests, which are public records, are handled, especially in the context of immigrant and refugee issues. This suggests concerns about what information is being requested or denied and how that impacts immigrant committees. Re-refer means legislation is being sent back to the committee for further review and correction. This refers to the federal oversight review of the Chicago Police Department's compliance with the consent decree, which is a court order reform agreement after CPD was found to engage in unconstitutional policing. IMR-11 is likely the 11th report from the independent monitoring. The city council is viewing how well CPD is meeting required reform that likely used to form the force of accountability and training. Now, Andre Vasquez. I got some questions for Andre. I wanted to do Andre. I already did Andre Vasquez, Famous Friday Part 1, but I'm going to have to do a Part 2 because I have questions because who are you working for at this point? Because where are you when it comes to I don't know, stuff like this? Like where do you come in at, Chairman of Immigration and Refugee Rights? Where are you at for these type of things? You haven't said anything. Where I just want to know, like, where are you at, Vasquez, when it comes to this? Where was you at when it came to them shelters, the shelter franchises? Where was you at? Where was you at? You keep getting kicked out the live? Oh, man. I'm sad that you guys getting kicked out. You guys still getting kicked out? This is what they doing. They don't want me to get the information out, man. They don't want me to get y'all the information. I didn't know you was getting kicked out. But yeah, I want to know, where are you at, Andre Vasquez, for this? I want to know where you're at with them all being dumped in our communities and we can't get no help. How you go silent? Like, where is all of this aggression and political theater? Oh man, I'm sorry, Sony. But yeah, I want to know where was you at? Where are you at? I want to know you where. Where are you at when it comes to this man right here? This man was outside. He just decapitated a person. He just decapitated this lady right here. This lady right here, Megan Boss. She was 37 years old. Where was you at? Where was you at, Chairman? Where was you at, Chairman of Immigration and Refugee Rights? Where was you at? Where was you at for Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, Andre Vasquez? Where were you? Where were you at for this? Where? He was outside. He been out. They found my man. If it wasn't for ICE, he would still be outside. Because you try to get on CPD, but CPD didn't do anything. They can't do anything. But where was you at? Where was you at, Andre Vasquez? Where was you at for this man? Where was any of these people at? You got Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez right here, Anthony Cazita. You got Jesse Fuentes. You got Brian Cincho Lopez. And Julia Ramirez. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know where are all these people at when it comes to that? Why? Like where this man was at the market. This nigga, this might be the Mexican. That might have been the Mexican Jeffrey Dahmer. That might have been the Mexican Jeffrey Dahmer. This was a U.S. He wasn't a U.S. citizen. The nigga was an illegal. And like, yes, Ms. Diane, I wonder how many heads had Gonzalez chopped off before Biden let him in the country. Because he just out here decapitating people. It takes a special type of person to just decapitate somebody. So I'm just trying to understand. You out here talking about zoning. You can't even chair the illegal immigration and refugee rights chair, but it ain't no money in that no more. You understand? Y'all done stole all the money. Your shelter, your big money shelter, is closed down in Streeterville. Yeah, you ain't got no money, no moolah, no more moolah in the immigration and refugee rights. So now you want to hand it over to little Ruth Cruz, who don't know what she's doing. She just out here just riding the progressive wave with y'all. I didn't even know she could talk. She talked for the first time last week. So Andre, that's what I also heard you ain't got no more money. And I heard the LGBTQ people ain't rocking with you in your ward anymore because you lied about you ran on a promise about a dog park or something like that, and you ain't give it to them. So they ain't rocking with you either. That's why I said I got to do a part 2 on you. Got a whole bunch of stuff on you now. Niggas ready. Niggas tired. Niggas tired to get all y'all progressively the fuck out of office because y'all are ruining Chicago, like I said. But you have the nerve. You shouldn't even be in the zoning conversation. You need to be figuring out how to get these illegals to get that $1,000 and that flight back home because ICE is going to do their job. And y'all are going to get arrested. Any one of y'all that's going to continue to think you're going to stop this is getting arrested. That's why y'all yet to say nothing about that. If y'all was about that life, about the humanitarian life, you definitely would have brought up my man who out here decapitating people and was able to be set free. Why you didn't ask for this? Why didn't you ask for Judge Randy Bruno? Why didn't you ask for Judge Randy Bruno to step down for just releasing this person, Mendoza Gonzalez? But they said you doctor. They say you doctor, and they say your family, you from Guatemala. They say your family ain't legal. So maybe that's why you on this crashing out tip. Now, what cartel do you work for? Clearly is rivalry when it comes to what Brandon Johnson cartel and that he running or working for, and what cartel you running or working for. But either way, you don't even be talking about zoning. You're not getting that seat at all. And honestly, I don't even think the Black Caucus deserve that seat either because they do nothing. And all y'all doing is really selling out our communities. Y'all not even letting us get in or anything. So I don't even know if y'all don't deserve it either. And I don't even like racist Bennett Lawson. Gay Bennett Lawson. I seen him the other day, and he hesitated going whatever. He was like had to walk past us, and I felt like he was going to go the other way, but he just said, "Fuck it." You know what I'm saying? And said, "I'm just gonna." Oh, no, I like this picture. I want y'all to see Bennett Lawson. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I call him racist, gay racist Bennett Lawson. Bennett Lawson is a bitch. I don't really fuck with Bennett Lawson. However, However, ice, baby. Oh, hold on. Go through. Let me show y'all. His constituents really don't fuck with him either. And it came down there about some shit before, but let's see. I want to do this one. I'll just share the screen. So this dude right here, he is the vice chair of the zoning. He's been the vice chair for a minute. So this is racist Bennett Lawson. Okay, you got the rainbows in the back and all that. I'll say about 65 to 70% of white gay men are racist. They really don't like black women at all. So I will tell you that. They like having sex with black men, but they do not like black women at all. So that's a fact. I don't care. That's not even an opinion. That's a fact. But back to him. So he is the chairman, vice chair of zoning. He's been a vice chair for a minute. Now, if I'm going to speak logically, because that is how we have to save Chicago and America, I honestly would let him be the chair because he's been the vice chair for forever. And he ain't, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, you already been in there. I mean, it's really nothing to it, you know, as far as he knows what he's doing now. He's been doing it for, you know, over a year, I think going on 2 years. And he should. I think that is fair to let him be the chairman of zoning. And I'm like I said, I'm not even a fan of him. But if we're gonna be realistic, Latino Caucus or the Black Caucus don't deserve that seat because they abuse that seat. They abuse the zoning. They abuse zoning. They abuse it for their political gain. They do it to, especially Black Chicago. They literally are down zoning everything till we don't have anything, because they are making sure they got all their stuff. And as far as the Latino, they out here. The progressive Latino caucus is running the city, and they running us down to the ground. So that's my thoughts. That's how I feel. Hopefully, it doesn't take another 9 months like he did last time to fill the seats. Hopefully, I really want him in jail by August 1st. I really pray every day that Trump and Pam Bondi and all them just honestly like start arresting these mayors, because he's lying about the crime. He's lying about everything. He's incompetent. He's the worst mayor of all time. He's Latino, progressive, Hispanic, KKK are fucking the city up as well. They need to be removed, resigned, or in prison. Andre Vasquez, he be talking too much. He can't afford to say anything at all. He can't afford to say nothing. Brian Citro Lopez can't afford to say anything at all. Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez can't afford to say anything. Stephanie Coleman, I like that you spoke up for the Do Nothing Black Caucus. And, you know, if you're not going to pick Bennett Lawson, then yeah, I could see Greg Mitchell. But also Greg Mitchell got to tap into his constituents because he's had some issues with some people that supposedly said that he was not trying to let them get certain businesses in his ward. You know, I personally don't have an issue with Greg Mitchell. Greg Mitchell actually, out of all the black aldermen down there, he is the one who really tried to get my case, get this situation settled. I think it was just too much money, and he's like, oh shit, I don't know about that. But he did try to get it. So I have respect for Greg Mitchell. I like Greg Mitchell. I just feel like a conversation needs to be had regarding that whole situation with not letting certain businesses be zoned in his ward or him blocking the zoning and stuff like that. But there's three sides to a story as well. And like I said, I respect Greg Mitchell because he, like I said, he honestly was the only one that did ask, what will it take to make your mom whole? You know, what do we need to do? Whatever he tried to get together, he was trying to get. So, you know, he did as much as he could do that I appreciate. So thank you, Alderman Mitchell, for that. However, I do believe that Bennett Lawson does deserve that job, and they should keep it. They should keep it. They should let him keep it. You know, especially since this will be your last term, Brandon Johnson, and it probably will be Bennett Lawson's last term as alderman as well because he's rude, he's mean, stuck up, a bitch. But at the end of the day, that's who the person is. If it's going to be if you have to choose somebody else, you might as well just leave Bennett Lawson in there for that time. That's the most respectable thing to do. All right, so I am under 2 hours, which is great because I usually do 3-4 hours. I know that's just a lot for y'all, but I just want to jump on and say that I will be. Oh, there is there's some meetings this week that are important. One of the meetings is I know tomorrow the Committee on Finance, Subcommittee on Revenue. There's at 11 a.m. That's Alderman Hall. Alderman Hall, I don't know what they're trying to do. They're still trying to find ways to appropriately tax us. But that honestly, the Committee on Finance, Subcommittee on Revenue, that needs to just pause right now because it's no. Also, July 24th is the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights at 10 a.m. with Andre Vasquez, who is the chairman, and he stay his ass right there. And then you have Committee on Public Safety the same day at 1 p.m. Also, I read and saw that Artist Lounge has decided to close their doors permanently. So, you know, it's unfortunate for the situation, but, you know, hopefully they'll get a better spot or find a better spot or next time be very, very cautious and do your research on you know, who you're gonna have in there and stuff like that. And honestly, I hope that that artist Mellow Bucks come through and make it up to them because she's literally got and I understand she can't she can't help if a mass shooting happens, but you also know that, you just talked about these people or whatever, mother and stuff like that. So that's just that. So yeah, I hope that you, as a person, as a public figure, because you are, as a rapper, as an artist, as a Chicagoan, that you make peace and make it up to that couple who lost their business in a matter of, I don't even think they was there 90 days. So, Black Americans, Chicago, not coming together, not doing nothing or anything. How much these Hispanics? You erase my comments, huh? Or only change things. So yeah. All right, y'all. I mean, blacks don't have to come together. Majority is waking up, but I do feel like blacks came together in the last election, and I believe that they're going to come together in this midterm election, the right ones. I'm not for like the negativity when it comes to us, because if we continue to think like that, then yeah, it's gonna, we're manifesting us to still be down here. I'm not down there. I'm up here. My group is up here. My supporters are up here. So I'm pretty much, I think we good. I think we about to get Chicago to where it needs to be. So I think, stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Please like and subscribe. And I will see y'all for Famous Friday. Got Famous Friday, special Famous Friday. Miss Pat show. I'm taking it a little bit different because it's a weird spirit over in Viacom and BET and Lee Daniels and Jussie Smollett and anybody that's associated with them. And that's it. I don't have it all figured out. I just don't like negative talk. I feel like negative talk is the reason why we're down. It's just like my mom. I tell my mother all the time. My mother prays, she go to church, she reads her Bible, and then sometimes she can be negative. And I'm like, you can't pray, listen to Joe Osteen, do this, do that, and then be negative. Like, what's the purpose of you doing all that and you can be negative? We have to speak. We have to speak in manifestation. I manifested everything that I'm doing right now. I manifested. You understand? And positivity, and that's how I feel. So that's my thing, and I think that's the issue that we have in our community. We're super negative, and I don't associate myself with people who are super negative. People who are super negative and don't have a solution, it's something wrong. That's the reason why we are still trying to pick our stuff up. So if a person can continue to be negative, then they don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to prosper. And that be our own people. It literally be our own people. We cannot continue to blame it on the system. It's systematic. It's this. It's that. When honestly, 40%. I would say 70% of this is us. Like real talk. That's us. I see it. We can't even come together. And what's that? Go there. So that's just what it is. So that's that. But I think you want to go back and forth. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. So you can talk to yourself. All right, y'all. Be safe. Take care.